Hi-oh, welcome back to another stream on the channel. And as that bloke says, effing useless. And Leicester City, defeat again against Watford. No sign of improvement, no sign of top, no sign of the team. And yeah, this season, well, we sit 14th in the Championship at the midway point now. It's the lowest we've ever been since it's 2010. And what a load of TOSH is what the title is. Let me know your thoughts in the comments on the game against Watford. We're going to indulge, look back on it, and we're going to chat about where it's going wrong for Leicester City. And, well, New Year beckons with one game left, which we take on Derby Monday. And how much time has Marty got left as well? Well, there we go. Dan, how are we?
All right. Yeah. Well, football-wise, awful, but in general, yeah, pretty good. It's only Leicester City that is damaging to my health at the minute and sanity.
Well, let's just say it causes me fucking depression, Leicester City at the minute, Dan, and you spend all that money supporting them and watching them, and well, we're not exactly getting money what we pay for, is it?
No, far from it. Far from it.
Right, before we start, let's see who's in the comments. Terry, greetings, hope you're good. Hi all, happy Christmas. So, have City found their level? Is this as good as we are? That's a Dan. What do you say to that comment? Have we found our level? Because I would very much disagree.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we say we've got a lot of quality in the squad to compete in this league. We're just not doing it.
Yeah. This is it. We just. I don't want to be on a Marty bashing because it's not solely down to him. Yeah. But unfortunately, as we've said, from probably the last 3-4 years, yes, we had a decent season with Maresca, but that's because he ran things properly. He was, as he showed at Chelsea, he didn't take no prisoners. He had a bomb squad because that's what he wanted to work with, and he left some big players out, so he showed his ruthlessness, but we don't have anything like that. I really hoped and wished that Marty was going to be doing that, but if rumours are to be true about certain things, he's been managing with one hand tied behind his back, but at the same time, the players that he has at his disposal are far better than 16th in the Championship, that's for sure. And no clean sheets in 17 games and things like that we are churning out. Not scoring enough, not having any pattern of play, not having a bunch of players out there who were not doing too much and getting away with it. And I think that's the biggest issue. And I think that's half the problem is they know they can get away with it.
This is how the club's being run, isn't it? We're allowing these things to happen and no one's overlooking these problems. They're just allowing it to carry on. And this is why we've found ourselves in the situation that we are, because we've not dealt with the problems that we've faced. We've basically just shoved them under the carpet like nothing's happened and carried on moving. And when it comes to it, it's like, well, I want to communicate more. I want to do this. I want to do that. I want a manager who's going to play a certain way. And you know, when Marty came in, it wasn't the best squad to work with due to how things have gone with previous managers after Enzo, your Steve Coopers, your Ruud van Nistelrooy's, and it's become a massive problem, Dan. And then you've got problems with players being out of contract next month. Well, they can sign pre-contracts next month, can't they, with other clubs abroad?
Yeah.
Your Winkses, your Ayus, your Patterson Dackers, the players like that are on big amounts of money. They're not on little amounts of money.
No.
They're on big amounts of money. But you then look at it and think to yourself, well, who's going to want to buy it? Who's going to want these players? At the end of the day, we'll wait till the contract runs out next summer. And okay, then we'll take you on a free because we're not going to want to pay you any money right now.
No, exactly. That's it.
We've got a squad, Dan. The mentality stinks within the camp.
It is. Yeah, 100%.
And they're just still... Leicester City, it very much reminds me of a soap opera where they'll do all their acting on camera, like they're actually doing something at Seagrave, training and all that, and having a good smile, like they're actually going to do something on a match day. And then when the camera's cut off, it's like, nah. We fool them. We'll fool the fans. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
They'll believe anything we say. But it's become a problem, Dan, where what we got 8 wins in the league, 8 defeats, and what we've got quite a few draws in there as well. This season it's not pretty. We're 14th in the league, and there just seem to be, Dan, no signs of improvement at all. We've just got a squad who just stroll around. We've got some individuals who obviously have done all right in recent times. Jordan James, Oliver Skip, and you've got everybody else. They'll feel like they want to turn up when they want to, Dan. You know, and don't really care in the world.
Yeah, unfortunately, as a club, a squad. And a mentality, we've just not moved on from 2016 pretty much. You know, we wasted a season on garbage, and an opportunity that could have served us for many, many years, but we didn't. I think, you know, maybe not so much fans, but maybe the club got a little bit above their station. Like I say, you know, as I know there's a lot said about the absent owner stuff and all the rest of it. I don't particularly care too much for it because it's one of them where it's just an easy stick to beat somebody with. He's not gonna change anything within the club, you know, as in mentality-wise, just by turning up every week. His whole persona doesn't even show that, and I think that's why he's failing on all accounts, whether it's at the football club or within his business.
You know what I will say, Dan, is what I find is with the manager. He speaks like bloody Pep Guardiola, but ain't got the coaching credentials to do what he says he's going to do with this squad. And
no, possibly not.
It is obviously difficult to come into these sort of circumstances. Any coaching football, I don't even think Pep Guardiola could come in and change anything at Leicester City. I really don't. That's the way it is. The squad, the mentality around the place. They've got a right nice little luxury base at Seagrave where they can just go and do whatever they want and not care well. But you know, I'm not bothered what they're doing training, Dan. I'm more concerned about what they're doing when it matters, and they clearly can't do that. So it's that mentality that they just stroll around whenever they feel like it. You know, fans turn up, pay hard-working money as we do to watch the team week in, week out. Yesterday, we'd sit there again in the freezing cold on Boxing Day, hoping they'd turn up and there'd be some sort of reaction from them. But again, it felt like the same at QPR. They just don't care. I don't really understand it. Watford came yesterday with, what was it, one away win all season?
Yeah.
One of the poorest away records in the league.
a bit. I was going to say a bit longer than that. But
yeah, and then I think they beat Derby, and then the rack up at Leicester. We make them look like fucking prime Brazil.
Well, but that's what we do, though, Jack. You know, that is what we do, as a manager once said.
It's got to change. Start with Martin, and well, as a football club, the books obviously the last book falls with the owner. That's where the book falls, and then it comes to Rudkin, and then it comes to the squad and the managing and all that type of thing. But nothing's going to change unless you change it. Unless you start making ruthless decisions from now and in, then that's when it starts to change. And
that's what I was saying, Jack. He doesn't have it in him. He's not got that. He's not got it in him. You know, he doesn't have that edge like his dad did. And as I say, hence why everything is falling around his ears whilst he's going off playing polo. You know, which again is not something that particularly bothers me, because I'm only bothered if I know people can do a job and the kid can't. So, you know, he needs to do the right thing, like what we've spoke about on here many a time. I don't care whether he's here or not, as long as the club is run.
The club's being run properly,
correctly,
as it should be.
And you've got the best in class of what is in your bracket.
Yeah.
To run the club, and he's not done it. He's left this absolute douchebag in charge. And if I hear anybody back him, he's a joke. You're absolutely clueless. You have no knowledge about how a club is, or a football club, or how things are done in there. Because if you think he's done a good job and claim because he's given a couple of kids a contract, you're an idiot.
Well,
because there's more to it than that. And he's failed on so many levels.
Well, this is it. He's obviously been left in charge. He's obviously the one that reports back to top with everything. And when you speak to fans now, you know, you speak to opposition fans, and they'll always say, "What the hell has happened at Leicester?" And you'd always come out and say what's been happening and that, and they'd say, "No, this is the biggest decline in probably English football." You know, obviously you had Portsmouth and obviously the Sheffield Wednesday saga and whatever, but to do what we have done in 10 years, and then people would never think Leicester would decline like that. We was a club, Dan, who everyone looked up to at that point. And thought, you know what, we want to be Leicester.
We were the model that everybody wanted to be.
Now we're basically like, what do we really want to be Leicester? Do we want to see us succeed at starting and fall off the way they've done? Of course you don't. Yeah. But it just feels like there's a lot of problems. Obviously, you know, you look at what Boho records, it said here, don't think our squad is as good as we believe. Older has been and lightweight who just get brushed off the ball, two wingers who are just one-trick ponies and so predictable. The squad, the team is predictable. You know, it's like we have one set of football to play, and when we get out fought by that, we don't know what to do. And then we're always in this mindset this season, Dan. If we concede the first goal, we crumble. It just feels like there's no ever coming back from how we play. And it's like our defence didn't really concede a lot at the start, but now the cracks are really showing of Leicester are there for the taking every game. Every team this season, and I've always said it, they really fancy their chances against us. If you haven't won at Leicester for 13 God years, Watford haven't won since 2013 at Leicester, by the way, previous to yesterday, and 12 years on, they've won.
Yeah. I know what you're saying about the beginning of the season, but we conceded a lot of chances. The championship is low on quality, so you get away with it. If it was a Premier League, we'd have been bashed up week in, week out. You know,
like last season.
You know, and then but now players are settled down. They've got their eye in a bit more. That's why we're conceding more goals. Because players are getting to their peak of fitnesses of, you know, without having any injuries and things like that. They're in, you know, some form of a groove in what they're doing. But yeah, like I say, you know, we just.
Shall I tell you what irritates me, Dan, in the team?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You look at when Stolarski's got that ball in his hands. Nobody's running. They're just stood there. There's nobody wanting to attack, and it's just they're all just moving around like snails. Like, what are we doing? Like, there's probably 8 of them. Just probably thinking, well, I can't get rid of that ball because nobody's moving. And obviously, he takes longer than he should sometimes.
That's the problem, Jack.
And me and you have criticised him a lot. He takes too long with it, and they've already regrouped. But it just feels like, Dan, they haven't got that hunger in their belly to do what other teams are doing. You look at Watford, they came, saw, conquered. You look at how Sheffield United played against us. They gave everything. They threw just everything. They've had a lot of teams this season have got a lot of heart in the team. You look at how Portsmouth played second half, Wrexham, teams who have got everything about them. This squad hasn't. This squad hasn't got that mindset of fighting, stability in a way of taking the game to teams. We only beat teams this season because teams didn't get at us enough. If teams got at us a lot more, the way in the defeats that we've had in the manner that we have, we'd probably have lost a lot more games.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. But they've kind of all just given up a bit on each other. Like, I understand what you're saying about when Jakob's got it. Yeah, like I say, I understand what you're saying about when Jakob's got it. Yeah. The problem is he's created that because he's been so slow and he's been allowed to be so slow because he's not, you know, he's not been punished by Marty or the coaching staff because all of them are in the same basket. You know, they've all got to have a word in his ear. Whoever the goalkeeper coach is, which I'm assuming we still don't have one, but whoever's in control of that, they've got to have been up him first, because he was hanging on to it for so long. So now the likes of Abdul, Mavadidi, Bobby, or whoever's, you know, JJ, whoever's been playing in that number 10 role, they know they're not going to get it because he doesn't release it quick enough. Oh. So now, what are we, 16 games in? We've now developed a thing where
23 games in.
Oh, there you go. That's how much.
We're halfway through the season already with 31 points.
That's what started it. You know, everything starts and ends with a goalkeeper. Whenever I've coached them, it starts and ends with them. They conduct the pace of our play from the minute they get the ball. And it's the same way as when we're conceding goals, he is the last man. He's accountable for it regardless. The fact it goes past 10 other players is irrelevant because he's either not been communicating with enough to make sure they are where he needs them to be. He conducts the area. He's the one who has them set. He's the one who calls the shape. Nobody else, because if not, it's his pants that are pulled down at the end of it. And he's not doing any of it. And when they do go by him, he lets them off the hook. You know, this little thing. And that's he has zero commanding of anything at all. When he comes to now and tries to attempt to catch a ball, he never does. He misses it by about 3 days. Yeah. He comes out like he's hanging his washing out. You know, he can't kick. He can't throw.
Well, someone said this yesterday in the stands to me, you know, and he said, I don't know who the hell would say that Hermanson was a poorer keeper than Jakob. And I said, I'm not being funny, but I'm not one who will scapegoat just one player. I'll look at each individual player as a team and then regard it of players in the team. I spoke to a guy yesterday, a good friend of mine, and he ran about Jakob yesterday. He said he hasn't been good enough this season. He said he has made a lot of mistakes. He said, yes, he's made big saves. But he said when he comes out and gets it, there's just no confidence there. It's like the second goal that Watford scored, which we're going to talk about Watford in a minute. He should be coming out as a keeper and demanding his area and coming out and taking that ball with everything. He said, don't worry about the defender. He said, that's fine. He said that should be demanded in the area, and there's just no communication. There's just so much disorganisation in this team.
There's no trust.
There's just no trust in each other. So Ben Nelson's obviously trusted Coley, and then Luke Thomas is trusting Steffi to come back and help him, and he's trusting a Coley or Vestergaard to be behind him to help him when the ball goes past him. And there's just no communication in the squad. They don't even talk to each other. No, you can see Vestergaard sometimes having a go at each individual one of them because they're not anywhere where they should be in there. And what I find, Dan, is there's no leader. No leader in this team at all. When it all goes wrong and sour, nobody's there to pick them up at all. You've not got a Kasper Schmeichel in there. You've not got a Vardy. You've not got a Wes Morgan. You've not got a Steve Walsh in there, a Matt Elliott. You've got nothing of a who can actually demand a lot.
Lennon, players like that.
We're suffering because we haven't got a leader in that dressing room to say, you know what, boys, we're not having this. You either pick your shit up or go home.
Yeah. Well, that's the other issue though, Jack, is that they pick up the bag and go, okay, there's nobody to come in. And again, I don't want to hear this about the kids. I do not want to send any of our kids out there to be hung out to dry.
You can't rely on the kids.
You shouldn't be relying on them.
If you physically put 11, 17, 18-year-olds together against in this league of the Championship, they're going to get beat every time.
Yeah,
they're going to concede a lot of goals, and it's going to slap their confidence silly. Yeah. It really is. They're going to not want to play football again.
Well, certainly not for us.
What it is, the problem is, Dan, is this: you've got so-called experienced players who are not pulling their weight around. And this is what it is. And then you're having to call upon Monga, Louis Page, Silko, Olibardi, Aluko, because others aren't doing it.
Well, this is it. Well, again, it might be a little bit of an old school mentality from me, but I am quite old. So, but it seems like there's no punishment. You'd hear of, like I say, older school managers. They'd have been in this morning at 7:00 and they'd have been running. And players hate it. They don't want to do that. They really don't. But they need to learn. But they just come swan around, come into Seagrave, have a little rub down, sit in the jacuzzi, have a chat, watch it on a big screen, maybe have a bit of a flea in the ear about it, but about what's not being good enough. Go, no worries, we'll go again Monday. And we'll turn out the same old shit again.
Do you know what though, Dan? What's irritated me, and I call it a lot of TOSH this evening whistle, and it is that what pisses me off is social media with the players. They come out with the same thing. Oh, we'll come back stronger. We'll do this. We'll do that. I don't want to hear it on social media. I'm not bothered what you've got to say. I care more about you proving to me you can actually do that in actions. I don't give a fuck what you say. Honestly, I'm not interested. Abdul does it a few times. There's a few other players that do it, and all about, but we will come back stronger. We need to stay together. It's this, it's that. I don't care. Talking's cheap if you can't get the actions to go with it. I'm sorry. If you can't go and prove to me at the King Power or away from home that you're up to your job and you're doing what you say you're going to do, then I ain't interested. It's just BS.
Yeah, that's it. Exactly.
They come out with the same thing, Dan, and then Martin's coming up with the same thing. Oh, but I feel for the fans. Oh, this, that. We want to win for the fans. You're not doing it, Marty. You say the same thing every week.
Yeah, that's it. They don't because they prove that. Well, not all of them. I don't want to tar them all with the same brush.
No, you can't.
2 or 3.
You've obviously got a couple of players in that squad. Ben Nelson. You've got Jordan James. Oliver Skip, he might not be the best footballer, but he's starting to prove that he can actually put in some decent performances.
Well, at least he makes the effort. Again,
that's all fans want, a team with effort and fight, and we've got no desire.
No, and again, things that fall down back to the manager is how has Jordan Ayew played the last 5 games with barely for at least minimum of 75. He played 90 on Saturday.
Yeah.
Well, I say played. He was on the pitch for 90 minutes. You know, again, there's no pressure on him. There's no pressure on him to deliver.
When Carranza's not even in the team.
Well, I mean, again, I don't understand what their thought process is. You know, even if you don't think he's good enough, players will perform more if they feel they are under pressure to deliver. Because if you're not, why would you? You're just going to have a cigar on. If you knew that you were going to turn into work every day, do an absolute pile of shit job, be missing for most of the day, get paid decent dough for it, not have to deliver any results, go home, come back again the next day and do it all again, you would do. Why would you? You wouldn't bother. You know, and that's what these players are doing at the minute. There's nothing on them at all. Nothing at all.
Oh, talks here about Marty. He has no plan before the game. It's just 11 players jogging around trying to be a hero. We are not actually a team. It's always so frustrating. 2 genius moments in half of a season, not good enough.
Yes.
See, Marty gets out for more times than not. And I always said that the 3 results before, Derby, Bristol City draw, and the Ipswich game, papered over the cracks. It has done this season. You know, we get a couple of wins together and it gets us in a little bit of a better mood. Then we come back to the same thing time and time again.
Yeah.
You know, because there's just no consistency. There's just no due diligence in what he's saying the team are going to do. Marty, he talks more than what the actions are. And what frustrates me is with him, Dan, is I think he's out of his depth. I honestly do. That's my opinion. And there's a lot of people who will say it, but you can't sack him because of, well, have we got the money to sack him? Probably not.
Yeah, that's the problem.
He's paid his way to come here, hasn't he? And this
whose door does that fall at again?
Well, the people who hired him.
But they seem to get away.
And was Marty the man that they actually wanted? I don't think he was. I just think the only reason they took him on board was because he said he'd pay to come here. And if nobody paid to come here, well, they'd have to go and do it themselves.
Well, again, this is it. You know, how...
It shows poor mismanagement.
Well, this is it.
It shows. There's just no plan and the procedure of who it could have been. I mean, I'd probably prefer Chris Wilder, if I'm honest. If Chris Wilder would have been the best appointment out of a lot of them, I think, with what we're being touted about. Gary O'Neill, Chris Wilder knows the Championship. He might be a dinosaur football, but he'd get you results. As simple as that.
Yes, he would. Yeah, he would. He would. I'm pretty confident of that because of how he organises a team. He's
a no bullshit manager.
Yeah, that's it. You know, he's not afraid to call people out. But
he's
again,
like Nigel Pearson, the character, a strong-minded character. Don't care what he says. He wants the results, and he finds the way to get it.
Yeah, that's it. And he may well possibly run the risk as well of going against those above him, which sound like they keep calling the shots, to do his own thing, and run the risk of, as long as he was winning games, he's not going to be in any bother, because if you sack a manager because they're not doing what you want them to do, but they're winning games, you're then going to have a few questions to answer from supporters outside the ground. But you know, so it is one of those where he needed to, you know, we needed to get the right person in charge, and it's not like we didn't take a time with it, because we had a
lot of time to think about.
They knew they were getting rid of Rude,
didn't we?
Yeah, they knew they were getting rid of him, but yet again, you know, what do? We
just like they had no plan to replace Jamie Vardy. They thought, you know what, we can't find anyone to replace Jamie Vardy. Here's the number 9 shirt, are you?
Because they don't know what they're doing.
Jordan Ayew isn't a striker. I'm fed up with, you know, but he works hard. I don't care. His job is to score. If he's wearing that number 9 shirt, I expect 20 goals from him this season. Yeah. I don't care. Yeah. If it comes off his head, I'm not bothered. If it comes off his arse, fantastic. As long as you've scored them goals that matter.
Yeah.
It's fine, but we don't seem to know what do we do in attack, really. For Tarwu, right? I love Abdul to bits.
Mm-hmm.
But if you take away his worldies this season, how much more has he done than other players in the squad?
No, he hasn't. He's been average.
He's been frustrating. He'll cut in on that left foot and have about 100 shots on goal, and most of them will go over. Or there's a few times that he tries it from the halfway line. Yes, one's come off, fantastic, but you can't.
Yeah, he tried it again yesterday, didn't he?
I think he gets frustrated, Abdul, and I
100% does.
I honestly love him to bits, and he tries everything to get the team where he feels that he relies on him a lot, and that puts pressure on him to provide. But you take away all the worldies, there's not been much in. You take away Jordan James's goals down this season, and there was a TikTok out earlier. I think Steve put it out. You take away Jordan James's goals this season and say Jordan James didn't score, but he has, and he's been fantastic at what he does. He's carried this team, Jordan James.
I mean, there's no way he should be our top goal scorer. And bearing in mind,
actually a striker
that's only got 6 goals.
Yeah, that shows nobody else is pulling their weight. You've got Abdul scored goals this season. I think he's got 4, maybe 5.
4 or 5, yeah.
Jordan James has scored 6.
Yeah,
it shows there's just no one's pulling the weight. Vestergaard, I think he's got 3.
Yeah.
It's not good enough. The whole team collectively should be getting a lot more goals. Jordan Ayew should be aiming for at least 15 goals this season at max because he's a striker.
Yeah.
But then you've got Carranza, who isn't good enough. You might as well send him back in January and bring an actual striker in. You've got Daka at the AFCON.
Yeah.
We've only got Jordan Ayew really is the striker.
Yeah, but it's not like we could rely on Daka to score goals, is it? Because he wasn't. So,
No.
We are where we are, but this all comes back down.
It's frustrating.
Yeah, but
I get really angry about it.
Yeah, but again, it all comes down to what we done in pre-season. We had no plan. We had no foresight.
Andy King took pre-season while they didn't still have a clue who the manager were going to be, and they left Marty just 2 weeks to prepare him for the season.
Yeah, we didn't remove enough players for what we needed, or for or the players that needed to be gone. They should have been, all of these that were making with the last year of their contract. They should have been first priority to have been gotten out the door and got whatever they could for it. Instead of demanding prices, they should have just been going, thank you very much, see you later, off you go. Find yourself a club if you want more. But these have come in for you, we've accepted it, see you later. And that's it. And not chasing silly money. Like I said again, if the rumours are to be true, we turned down 8 million for Daka. I mean, who in their right mind is daft enough to do that? And
why
again,
are you sticking a £10 million price tag on him? It counts as a positive in this profit and sustainability year.
We're in a mess with PSR anyway. So whatever we had gotten, it's the fact that their wages were off the books. That's the biggest thing.
That's what you needed to do.
Yeah, even if we'd have got a quid for some of these players.
You're still stuck with 6 of them.
Yeah, that's it. Paying their wages for another year. And then no doubt, anyway, the genius that Rudkin is would probably offer half of them another 3-year contract because they can't
they offered bloody Luke Thomas 4.
Well, yeah, but, this is what he does.
There's Rudkin open and get 50 million quid for him.
They can't get a move anywhere else or contract anywhere else.
Because no one will pay him that type of money, Dan. That's what it is.
Well, this is what happened with Wilfred. I loved Wilfred, and he was brilliant for us.
His injuries hindered him in the end.
Yeah, that's it. But we shouldn't have been giving him another contract. All right. We benefited slightly. I mean, it's hard.
What did they pay? £9 million? And they paid in the end, Besiktas? 9.
Yeah. But how much were we paying him in wages for a season in the Premier League? That was of no point to us.
Dan, how do you respond to these type of comments? I picked one out here. 30 years of watching the Foxes, never felt this dejected towards the side. We've always spoken about our feelings on the fans. We go to games week in, week out, supporting the team because we love them, and it's the passion in it we show for our football club. It's the roller coaster we always say we're on every year, every season with Leicester City. And you never know what you're going to get. It's like a pick and mix in it. You never know what you're going to pull out first out of that bag. But yeah, how do you sort of look at this one? Because there's a lot of fans who have had enough, who have just decided, you know what, I'd rather go and do something else than watch this. There's a friend of mine who's been going years, Dan, and he's not been going the last few games. He just said it's so depressing and he feels so down with it that his club's come to this. He basically feels we've hit rock bottom at this point. He said the club's on its arse. He said it's so painful to watch this happen to our club. And then you feel so dejected as a fan, even sitting there, you think, do I want to come next game? Do I want to keep doing this? And what do you sort of say to them fans, Dan, who sort of feel this way? Because I think it really shows of how far we've declined as a club. And you sort of feel for these fans of how they're actually feeling towards the club.
That's it. I mean, like I say, again, it's one of those where it's not the lowest we've ever been, obviously.
No, obviously not.
We did go down to League One, and it certainly does feel like that at the minute.
What was that, Dan? 16 years ago, we were in League One. I don't remember.
Yeah, that's it. But the biggest difference is that we know with that side that went down, we know they were bad, they were awful. But this side, it does have talent in it, and it shouldn't be in this manner. Because,
13 million quid McAteer went to Ipswich and they hate him. By the way, they think he's one of the worst players you've ever seen in an Ipswich. If you talk to Ipswich fans about McAteer,
again, it's slight overreaction.
Evening, boys. If Jakob had made any kind of distribution like Casper, we have a centre forward who's played as the number 6 even deeper than Skip. No one is on the halfway line for a counter attack. See, my mate Daz, we talk on the phone all the time about the team and what's happening. And he asked me a question yesterday. So I've got something to ask you. And he said, Jordan, are you? He said he spends his time as a fucking number 6.
Yeah, wow.
He said, where is Ayew? And like he says, when the goalkeeper distributes the ball, Jordan Ayew's in the number 6 position. We've got no one up front.
Yeah, like I said earlier, he drops deep because he knows that Jakob's only going to roll it out to Yannick or whomever. Well, Nelson potentially as it is now, or a midfielder. He's never gonna play it forward. He's never gonna pick him out because he doesn't have the ability to. He might well aim for him, but it'll end up going out into Rosette. So
Gary's put. We are now thinking of any excuse not to go. 6-hour trip from Dorset. Fans travel far to watch Leicester. They do.
Yeah.
It's a long way to come. And, Marty ain't got a clue. Good day. From Jamaica. Big up, Jordan. I don't think it's the goalkeeper is the problem. We won the championship in 23-24 season under Enzo Maresca. And it was because of good management. That's all the Foxes need, my heart in pain. So he's basically saying that they need good management.
Yes.
But then you also need a squad who actually want to try.
Well, the problem is what is confusing with Marty, with everything he's done, is way back at the beginning of the season when he first came in, he said, I want to play front foot, attacking football, various ways of playing that attacking style, not just passing for the sake of passing. It'll be a range of passes from short to long. I also want to be on the front foot of pressing. We saw it in one game against Fiorentina, and we thought, fair enough. And he won us. He won the majority of the people over with that. Since then, I don't think I've seen us do that once. From the minute we crossed the line in the start of the season, we've not done it. So we've shown we could do it. Yes, admittedly, it's pre-season, and they were a couple of weeks behind us. And I always go as pre-season. They're not competitive games, no matter how well we think we've done. But you like to see a pattern of play. You like to see what things are bubbling away on the training pitch, because they do come out in these, because that's where they try it. But since the season started, we've not done any of it. We've done a mishmash of stuff. There'll be a game where all we'll do is smack it long and give it away. There's games where we'll try and pass it and we can't pass water and give it away. There's games where we try and do a combination of the two and just not. Like I say, there is no pattern of play at all.
And this is what Sonia says here. Abdul is given the license to play is what he sees, which we've said, haven't we, Dan? He tries doing a lot of different things in the game because he relies on himself to do it. But what we need is set plays in the final third. So she's saying you need set positions where players need to be. But we've got players who can't even stick to their own positions. You're looking at, where was it? Yesterday. Was it Ayu? It might have been. No, it might have been Silko. It was at left back at one point helping Luke Thomas out.
Quite possibly.
It's like with Marty, I find, Dan, he sticks square pegs in round holes a lot of the time. Because and I know you look at the squad and some people say, yeah, but you've took Fass out, you've took Winks out, because they needed to be gone. But then you've then got, you've basically got to use what you've got at your disposal.
Yeah, but he's not really playing anybody out of position though, Jack. The problem is the quality of them. That's the be all and end all of it. I mean, apart from Ayu, who we all know is not a centre forward, and again, like what Sonia says, I don't disagree too much, but Abdul's a bit of a maverick in what he does.
He's good at what he does. He just does too much.
Yes, but at the same time, we don't have anybody in the box. We don't flood the box with 3, 4, 5 players.
No,
we may have Steffi somewhere near the box, but not really where he should be. He should be coming in at the back stick, because if anybody else misses it, it's an easy tap in for him. And Abdul should be doing the same when Mavs has got it. We occasionally have JJ running in as a late runner, which, again, normally that would be good. But unfortunately, we have Bobby, who is okay, but he's nowhere near the box. And we have Ayu, who is nowhere near the box. And neither of them, or any of those three, really are that good in the air. JJ, okay, he's decent in the air. He's not bad, but, again, it's not something that he's really renowned for.
Such a disconnect between the fans, players, manager, and board, bigger than it's been for 15 plus years. Milgo, thanks for coming on and expressing your concern. Which this is what it is. This is why we've called it "What a Load of Tosh," because we're not in the great bloody mindset, are we? As a club, we want to obviously express about everything, not just the Watford game, but to give you guys a chance to basically come out with how you basically feel, innit, at the minute about what's happening in the club, and how it makes you feel. It just feels like a bloody relief session, doesn't it? Like a counselling session. That's what it feels like. I mean, Dan, at the minute we feel like bloody counsellors. We're feeling your pain, but then we feel that we're obviously expressing the same thing. If you get me.
That's it. Well, like I say again, the disconnect comes because we don't trust anything they say, because they say one thing and do something else completely different.
That's it.
Or they just drag their heels until we're in an absolute state of disrepair.
The difference 10 years, mate, from champions to this position we are in. Say what you like. The problem lies at the very top of the tree, without a doubt. Terrible way to let this club go. That's it. And Kev, we spoke about this at the very start about the club and the decline and all that. And me and a friend of mine behind me yesterday, who obviously watches the channel and that, we was talking about it all yesterday. at half time about how bad things have got, and and people do always ask you about why do you still go, Jack? Why do you still do what you do? Do you not? And you feel it as a fan, and I always like to come and talk to fans, and people talk to me about different issues in the club that they feel necessary to have, and it's good to have them chats with people, because you never know how people are feeling. Everyone has the different opinions, but you don't know how people express them unless you sort of evaluate. I've been wanting to hop the pond for a Leicester weekend, but I'm probably not going to be able to once. I'm not coming over during this toxic. Yeah, we need a leader on the pitch. Currently, we have said this, haven't we, Dan? Big up the Dallas Foxes. We've said this a lot, haven't we, about leadership. Ricardo's the captain. Hamza is the vice captain. I just feel we haven't got a Wes Morgan, Steve Walsh. Players of them would get stuck into this team straight away. It'd be no beating around the bush, and they're big talkers in the dressing room. I just don't feel we've got that.
Well, again, that's another issue that we have with having two players who can't.
Yeah, it don't look. The squad don't look fit either. I'll agree with that, because we didn't look fit at QPR.
No, they don't. But but at the end of the day, that again goes, like I say, with the captaincy. We've not got a player who plays consistently week in, week out who you can rely on. We have two right back stroke midfielder who share the games between them.
Yeah.
And at the minute, neither of them are anywhere close to being our strongest players. I mean, Ricardo is really killing himself. I have no idea what is going on in his head on the pitch.
I love Ricky B to bits.
Yeah,
and
but some of his passing at the minute,
he has been a good servant, but it just feels like maybe time's passed him by a little bit. See, since all these injuries he's been getting, he's just never been the same player. Since prime Ricardo, it just isn't the same player. Yes, it's good to have experience in the squad.
Yeah,
he just hasn't. See, the start of the season, I thought he did well. When he obviously the Oxford, he got a few goals, and that's helped the team.
Yeah,
I just don't think he's done much since.
Hasn't done anything other than.
What's the contract situation with Monga? A lot of speculation. Well, basically, he can sign a professional contract next summer.
He's signed a 1-year contract or professional contract already as the pre-agreement for what he already got. So Monga's situation is fine for now.
That's what that's what we're going to call these shows at weekends when we do it, me and Dan. We're not going to call them the match review. We're going to call them the final therapy whistle.
It feels like that at the minute.
Yeah. Listening to me and Dan, it probably ain't the bloody smartest idea. We don't bloody know what we're on bloody half the time. But Dan's the voice of reason of the channel. He sees both sides of the coin, and he'll be the man in the middle of all this. So
it's becoming harder at the minute, I've got to say.
What about everyone's asked about Antonio? So before we talk about Watford, what's your thoughts on the Antonio situation? Because I said to someone yesterday, what if he doesn't come back the same player and you paid him 60, 70 grand a week? Then what? What do you do?
Well, I think this could possibly be the issue, is the finances of it. I'm going to say that the club probably want to put him on a pay-as-you-play in case he breaks down or is no good and gets left out the squad. A little bit of a
how are we?
And he's probably pushing for an 18-month contract minimum, So I would say there's some sort of standoff there as well, how much we actually want to pay him and we can afford to pay him. Because again, if you remember back to when...
Hey, Ron Rich, mate.
When we were talking about it a few weeks back, again, this is the other situation with Marty. Rob said to us that they don't want to sack two managers inside a season. Well, they're going to be doing that because of dragging their heels with Rude. So now they're going to be. It's going to happen, but
Do you think, Dan? And this is what Ozzy said. We only rely on individuals. Obviously, he's put James in there and Monga to deliver, and everyone else just sits there with no confidence. And at the rate we're gonna turn in Sheffield Wednesday. Obviously, I know someone's bloody stated that on social media once about Leicester in 5 years could basically be where Sheffield Wednesday is. But obviously, I don't look into that type of thing. I just look where we are at the minute.
Sheffield Wednesday situation it is considerably different to ours.
Yeah, it is.
They had a guy in charge who ran out of money. His money supply got turned off at the tap by his dad.
Yeah.
So we're not in the same situation as what they are, where everything's going to rack and ruin. Yes, off the pitch, we're not being ran very well, but that's something completely different. Theirs is a financial thing. Ours isn't, So in respect of what we can do, I know there was the hullabaloo about people not being paid when they said they were going to be paid, but they were getting paid. So it was a little bit of a drama over nothing and made more of. Like, don't get me wrong, it's not right. It's not a good thing and it's not a good look on the club. But it should have stayed within the club. It shouldn't have got out in the manner that it did. But like I say, but it's an easy thing to do when everybody's pissed at the club at the minute. It's another easy
things like that come out about staff not being paid. It's a problem.
So like I say, we're not in a case of where it's Sheffield Wednesday when nobody's getting paid and the ground is falling to bits. And the stand can't be open because it breaks health and safety regulations.
Well, there's no sign of Leicester's expansion anytime soon, Dan.
At the minute we can't feel what we've got because
this is it.
We're turning out.
The attendances are dropping week by week,
hugely,
and this shows how upset the fans are. And, there's just no answer.
No, that's it. That is the one thing where at some point the club has really got to look at itself, because I think they got away with it for the first few months because we were still the highest by far selling ground or filling the ground in the Championship, and we should be. At the end of the day, we should be. But unfortunately, because of how things are run and because of the performances that players are putting in, fans have had enough, and it's the only way you can get a club to wake up.
This is it.
They end up playing in front of only season ticket holders only, and even then, I know a few that have not given it up, but they don't go.
And you look how much they're charging for tickets and that, and it's not cheap.
That's it. That's it.
Guys, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate everyone coming here. What's the like target? We've got 60 watching. We've had quite a lot in this therapy session this evening, Dan.
Then we need a minimum of 60. It doesn't cost anything to hit the like button.
It's all free. We do this therapy session for nothing, basically. We're calling it therapy. Yes. We're basically doing a therapy session now. We work by the hour. We don't get nothing.
No, that's it. Exactly.
Ray, exactly. Do you know what therapists charge you? You and Dan we are working for free, mate.
Yeah.
What we do, this is a channel where you can just basically express how you feel and how you feel about games and whatever, and talk about whatever you want. Yeah. As long as it's sensible and, there's no hating on having bickering and arguments and whatever in the chats and that, then, we're fine. We aren't getting relegated only because we won't get a points deduction. See, everyone always asks about this, the points deduction, Dan. Leicester have breached, haven't they? So they're bound to get something at some point. What is your thoughts on it? Because they said it'd be the end of this month, start of next, going into the new year. If we say we get 9 points, that would basically put us basically just outside the relegation zone, I suspect, where I think we replace Oxford. I think we'd sit 21st, maybe. 21st.
Yeah. Do I think... Yes, I do think we will get punished at some point.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's going to be as bad as what people try to make it out to be. And, you know, as people do, they hype things up to make it sound a lot worse than it is, or better than what it is, depending on which way you are. I don't think it will. Did we underestimate the Championship? No, I think the Championship's dross, if I'm being truthful. It's not an underestimation of it. It is what it is. But the problem with the Championship is that if you don't put a bit of effort in, then you'll get what you get, you know. But no, back to the points deduction. We won't get relegated. We won't.
Well, we bloody hope not.
I know we're trying hard. I know we're trying our best to do it, but we won't, because we will gain enough points to be above.
I agree. And
a minimum of 3 in here.
When they start signing pre-contracts of other clubs next month, these players, they'll down tool massively. A lot of these players are going to down tool. Some will probably want out in January. It wouldn't even surprise me, Dan, if they
the minute they sign pre-contracts, then that's it. They're done. They shouldn't even be anywhere near the bench.
Well, this is it. If Jordan Ayew does it, we basically ain't got a striker. You've got, who else we've got out of contract in there? Obviously, Stolarczyk and Thomas signed contracts, didn't they? Who's out of contract? Ricardo's out of contract.
Booba.
Well, he's nowhere to be seen anyway.
Booba, Winks, Ayew.
Yeah.
And that's it. Fass is still on for another year.
Contract. Vestergaard's on for another year. Bobby Reid is another year.
Bobby Reid is another year.
Jordan James is obviously on loan.
Yes, but he's not somebody we want to let go.
If we don't get that deal done with, you might as well just bloody sinkers now, because that is what I sort of look at down with it.
Yeah.
To be honest, if we did get a 9-point deduction, say we did, and we were obviously in for a relegation battle, then people will sit there and say, yeah, but do you really think you're getting less points than Oxford and Portsmouth?
No, we won't. You know, being honest, even with the points,
it's relegation form. It is relegation form. Anthony DeMarco, I'd be happy with a 6-point deduction. Leicester should have took this whole debacle last season. They should have just accepted the punishment and moved it on, and just said, you know what, hold our hands up. We've done what we've done. We were going to go down last season anyway, so we should have just took the punishment, and then this season would have been a clean slate for us as a club to rebuild and go again. But what do Leicester do? No, I ain't doing that. Don't think you're telling me what to do. And where's that got us down? Halfway through the season now, and we're still fighting this bloody constant Mount Everest battle.
Well, again, you know, it's a mismanagement from upstairs away from the football pitch. Which again,
when you've had problems with your own manager, mate, in the past, there's the past comment, mate. That's not Paul Liam Rossini and this bloke in charge now. You know,
there's not even any point in answering that. If you think that is okay with what he has at his disposal, regardless of whatever issues there are.
Carranza is just.
Well, we've needed a striker since about.
Carranza's basically the Edward situation all over again.
A little bit, yeah. I don't understand.
Except he's not on huge amounts of money.
You see, and these are the sorts of things what I wish reporters would ask the questions about. You know, where is he? What's going on with him? Why is he not getting any minutes at all when we have a single striker in the club at the minute that's not delivering?
Yeah.
But yet we're paying for somebody who's on loan and paying their wages, and he sits there getting cold every weekend.
Yeah.
I don't, again, what's the issue there? And if it's because he's been crap or whatever, well, yeah, he's not been great, but have we played to his strengths? And then secondly, with that, if we're not, then why as a manager, not a manager, as a coach, that's That's the be all and end of it. You are a coach. How are you not making him better or adapting the team to his strengths to get the best out of him? Again, this is another thing where Marty falls down. As I say, I don't want it to be a Marty bashing with it, because there's bigger issues with the club, and he's just sort of like,
he's just involved.
A man stood at the tip of the boat as it's going down under sea, trying to hold on to stuff. But he doesn't do himself any favours.
He repeats himself all the time. He says the same thing time and time again about the fans and this, that, and the other. But we didn't look in it. Blah blah blah. I'm just like, mate, just shut up and just do what you're being paid to do and get the best out of this team and get us results. It's what you want to do. I'm not interested in what you've got to say, Marty. What I want to see is, I don't want to keep seeing you repeat yourself time and time again. I want to see your words being put into action, my mate. And if you can't do that, you clearly ain't up to it. And I'm fed up of listening to it. I'll put my headphones in and just block out what you've said.
Yeah. Well, he's rinse and repeat week in, week out. That's the problem.
Sadly, you two guys badly overrate our team, both veterans and youth. What? I don't overrate our team at all. I don't believe our team's the bloody prime Barcelona in the Championship. I don't talk like how some people spoke about Ipswich at the start of the season, Rag. I'll be honest. I'm very much open about our team. I will never overrate this team and say it's the bloody next prime Brazil or bloody. I mean, we ain't got Ronaldinho playing in midfield, have we? And bloody Roberto Carlos at left back, mate. Jesus, if Luke Thomas would play like Roberto Carlos, I think we'd be happy. And Ronaldinho is the number 10 Bobby D called overeat. We'd have no problems. But yeah, I see things as I see it. I say it as I see it. I will not sit there and overrate anything. And I don't think Dan's ever done it either.
No.
I do obviously respect your comment, though.
No, I don't know whether you're getting slightly confused there with the fact of what we're saying is that this squad is better than what it's performing. There's very big difference.
There's obviously bits of quality there. That doesn't mean we're overrating it. Abdul is a quality player. He is. Yeah. We've seen Steffi do it in the Championship last time round. We've obviously got a lot of older players in the squad. Of course we have. We've still got a lot of players that...
No, like I say, the biggest issue comes down is that we don't have a pattern of play that we use. We don't have any structure to what we do.
Yeah.
And we don't have players that fit whatever it is that he thought he was going to try and do, and he doesn't seem to adapt with it. Do I think we're too good to go down?
No one's ever too good to go down.
No,
I said this in 2023 when we got relegated. No one's ever too good to go down, ever.
No.
Not a chance.
We've proved that over the years. That
you go down because you deserve to go down. The 22-23 season, we deserve to go down.
Yeah,
without a doubt.
That's it.
When you down tall and don't put up the fight, and you're losing more games in anything, then that's it.
Yeah.
As soon as you've given up, that's it. It's like last season. As soon as we let our heads drop after scoring one goal, well, when the opposition scored one goal, that's it.
Yeah.
We gave up and we just took a hammer in, and that's when you know that it's finished. Evening Clibo, Luton. Well, look at Luton.
Yeah, like I say, just going back to that, no, we're not too good not to go down. I just think there is teams that are worse than what we've got in ability-wise that will prevent us from going down. Again, like what somebody said before about, do I underestimate the Championship? No, the Championship's awful. It's rubbish. There's poor quality.
Well, people say the Championship's improved.
It's just that you never know what's going to happen.
I mean, Ipswich are still third, even after losing a few games. But
that's it. They just try a lot harder. That again, ability in there is not great. Don't get me wrong. You know, the players that are there are good because it takes a hell of a lot to become a professional footballer. You know, we're not talking about Sunday league players and things like that, because it annoys me when people do say that. But are they of a quality that should be playing higher, as in top leagues within Europe? No, they're not. You know,
most of our players play every week, just don't want to be here. It's time to just use the guys on the bench who want to play but never do, and bring in. Yeah, John, I understand it, mate, regarding the youth, but you can't always use a lot of youth, because it's not good for, obviously, the mentality. You know,
not in this squad.
I like Mongo. I think he's a fantastic player. Do I think he'd develop at Leicester? Probably not, but I like him. I think he's a great lad, and I think, to be honest, is a very good player who's going to go to the very top.
Yeah, just not with us, unfortunately.
See, Jake Evans, fantastic young player. I think he's got the credentials to do a lot. Silko Thomas, I think he's good. I've rated him this season, and I speak highly of Silko. Like you do here, Armchair. Silko Thomas shows more in 10 minutes than some do in 90. Have a good one done. Yeah, Villa scored late on Enzo. Bloody hell, Aston Villa scored, is it? Was it 2-1? Well, right, Dan. Let's get through the Watford game. We've done a lot of therapy work, and just the last little bit now to finish us off. Leicester 1, Watford 2. Leicester have gone 17 games without a clean sheet.
Yeah.
Big up Jordan Blackwell for this one, who works for Leicester City Live. Not only is that the longest current run in the Championship, but the longest current run in England. Top 4 divisions across competitions. I believe we've now beaten Norwich. Dan, where do we start? First off, we get the goal through. Come on! Well taken goal by JJ to put us ahead. Obviously
approaching that as well. It's worked well.
The balance of play we'd scored on, and obviously Watford dominated us. We were getting stung because we keep giving the bloody ball away. And then that led to Watford scoring that goal. I mean, we switch off, basically, before half-time, and Watford scored. They could have had a second, really, couldn't they? Ben Pollock's goal would have stood. I think they said it were offside or some sort of a foul.
No, it was. There was one of their players was stood in front of Jakob and blocking his sight and preventing him from actually getting to the ball as well. Right. So.
Got you. So
it was a bit of a mixture of the three.
They scored a good goal. Watford. It was given away by Caleb Akole. There's the defence. Well, I've took it out of a little bit of Ricardo's there, Akole, Ben Nelson. I mean, I don't know where Luke Thomas is going. I honestly don't. But then Luke Thomas goes back turned. I don't know where. It's a lot of disorganisation, Dan. Lack of knowing to defend again and conceding a goal, and Jakob basically lands up like bloody Danny Ward positioning like he did in that 22-23 season. Leicester ball watching, just no physical of knowing, just no defensive awareness, Dan, I'd say, in that goal for Watford. Obviously, it's a well taken goal, don't take it away from them, but
it was a great finish outside of the book.
Out from the back,
into the top corner.
And we get punished again.
Yeah, but like what I was saying back at the beginning of the programme about with Jakob, at no point should that defence be shaped the way it was. And there's only one person who can direct that, and that's him. That's commanding your box. And it was unbelievable. We got away with that, not five or 6 minutes beforehand where they got in, but he blazed it over. Pretty much exactly the same happened, except for, like I say, he blazed it over the bar, put his foot through it, blazed it over the bar. This time, sweet outside of the boot, curled it into the top corner. Fair play to the guy. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, he was given more time than anything. He was given the freedom of the walkers, but so I'm refusing to call it the King Power anymore now.
Oh,
And,
Dan, Watford's number 10 in
yeah,
Ramblers.
yeah.
Pulled the strings for Watford yesterday in that midfield. Very good player.
But again, he could, because he was given so much time. Bobby never put him under pressure whatsoever. None at all. Because he was their deep lying midfielder, if you want to call it that, whatever you know the kids want to call it these days.
Pulled the strings and opened us up.
Exactly what he done. He just picked up pockets. Yeah. Their keeper gave it to him, and he picked passes out. And he had not a blue shirt anywhere near him for the entire 90 minutes.
Good captain's performance, though. Some obviously we're lacking. But then second half, Dan, oh, Jesus. The boys didn't turn up, did they? Didn't even come out. 2 shots on target in the first half. And then let's talk about the second half.
Went that way, so we again. Goalie. Oh, my God, man. Oh, my days.
Dan, talk to me because you knew that second goal would come. They looked far more threatening side. Every time there were no lack of thinking of going forward for Leicester. There was nothing in attack, just too tippy-tappy football. Every time we'd pass to each other, it'd go out of play, or we'd shoot from distance and break them down.
Well, we have nobody to hold the ball up there and relieve a bit of pressure. And again, we have no structure. We have 2 midfielders who continuously are bombing up and down, depending on where the ball is. Where again, it shouldn't be the case of that. It really shouldn't, and that's where Marty's really got to get a grip as to what he's doing. And then that's the problem.
I don't know what's
we get caught out. Where we get caught out, Jack, is because we leave 2 centre halves at the back. And everybody else goes, but we give the ball away too cheaply because, like I say, we can't look after it, or we play a stupid pass that ain't on, and then we can't get back. There's no legs there to get back. That's, because Ricardo's lost his pace. Luke doesn't have any. Thomas doesn't have any, and he spends himself turning himself into the ground, looking for what position he's meant to be in.
Yes, being too easy. The amount of yellow cards we picked up yesterday. That was the only time we got close to them. We're fouling them, and the referee would hand out the yellow cards. I don't even think the referee were poor yesterday. I just think it's our own doing again. I think Abdul picked up his 5th yellow card.
I mean, Ayew was lucky to stay on the pitch. He should have been sent off in the first half. I don't know.
The worst thing Ayew did was run into the box, and then he come out of the box, passed it to Thomas. It went out of play, and then Thomas did one to Stolarczyk, and that went out of play. I'm just like, and then Abdul tried a bloody 50-yard ball, and that went out of play.
He, like I say, Ayew yesterday, he looked like a man on a mission to get sent off. He'd argue with the referee at any given moment over nothing. He'd go around kicking their players, tripping them up, fouling them. He was lucky not to have got a second yellow card when he tripped.
The first yellow card, he should never be making that challenge.
What's that?
The first yellow card he picked. The first yellow card he picked up in that game. He should never have made that challenge ever. No. I don't know why he's thinking of even making it, because he don't need to. He's got cover to go and do it, but he just made the challenge. It's silly mistakes, silly bloody fouls, Dan, that we kept doing yesterday because we were getting annoyed and we were too tippy-tappy around the back, too slow to get out. And then when, again, Jakob spends too much time with the ball and Watford are basically reshaped, and then they kept counter-attacking us, and they should have had probably 3, maybe 4 yesterday, Watford in goals, because we were well open.
Well, Caleb quite clearly isn't fit and also isn't good enough.
I think he got injured yesterday, Caleb Bacola. He went down, he did wear a knock.
Yeah, he got caught by Ricky P.
But that goal, what they scored, the second one, is it comes out. We get rid of it to the edge of the box. Loser has a lot of time to think about that cross. No one's closing him down. Ball in, caught ball watching, and then Stolarczyk goes nowhere near it. He gets nowhere near it. He claimed for a foul, even though it's not a foul.
No, it wasn't a foul.
And they scored. You knew when that ball were going to go in. You knew that we wouldn't get anywhere near it. And Ben Pollock scored the second goal he'd scored because he got the first one ruled out. And Watford deserved it. They did, because we were poor. We're too negative in how we're setting up and how we plan it, because there was just no elegance down in even wanting to look at attacking Watford. And Marty said, yeah, but it was the last 10 minutes. Me, with the old bloody half. I don't know what half you were watching. It was the whole half. We didn't even attack them. We just laid no glove on them whatsoever. Too easy, too predictable. Got beaten 9 times out of 10. We just got absolutely rinsed. They counted us a lot, and we were poor. And we made the subs. Silko came on, Monga came on, and did we keep Jordan Ayew on? Yeah, we did. We did.
He played 90 minutes.
I thought he'd bring Jordan Ayew off for Carranza.
Should have done, but it's shown the last 2 games where for the likes of Fass and Carranza that they have no place in this side, because he's brought on Silko Thomas to play up top. Yeah. When he's not, he's a wide man. Yeah. And against QPR, we played Skip as a centre half in the second half when Yannick went off. Yeah. And he didn't come on. And he's brought in a half-fit Caleb to play over him. And I know we don't want particularly fast to play, but then don't waste the spaces on the bench.
Do you know what? You know what frustrates me, Dan? That team got battered last week at QPR. Yeah. But you're picking the same players again. You basically only changed Vestergaard because it needed doing. You've not physically thought, you know what, these players weren't good enough last week. Why are you picking the same team? Van Nistelrooy did that last season. Picked the same amount of players time and time again. And it's just rinse and repeat. You should be changing the structure a lot more and say, you know what, I need to take control of this. But you're letting the same thing happen, Marty, because you're not willing to change it either. So, you know, what are you supposed to do when criticism comes your way? Don't moan about it, because you're the only one who made that one change yesterday when there should have been a lot more changes in that team.
Yeah, there should have been. Yeah, you can't lose a half 4-0. And I don't want to hear anybody say, oh, yeah, but we won the second half 1-0. I mean, do me a favour. You don't get nothing for that. You've been bashed up and beaten up in the first half. They didn't even need to turn up. We still probably wouldn't have won the game, even if they didn't. You know, so don't give me that.
Look at the last 5 minutes.
And that's not a reason then to start the same side, all but an enforced one because of injury. You know, there was many there. Look, again, Bobby, like Ricky, they can't last. So you can't be going 75 minutes before you've made a change, you know, in the manner that we were playing. And if he thinks that the first 45 minutes when we came off against Watford was good enough to have not made any changes, again, you've got to call his judgment into question. Yeah. You know, because you do, as a manager, you have a mindset of going, you know, that ain't good enough. All right, we were 1-0 up and we've conceded late on, but that goal was coming, as we've said. Yeah. So it's like, you've got 10 minutes to sort yourself out. If you're not showing me in 10 minutes, and they didn't, because they looked like they were going to score again within that, it's making changes.
When did Monga deliver? We didn't deliver in the Watford game. We just threw him on. I don't know when Melly Monga delivered.
I'm not
What
really sure about
what we actually talking about, Rag?
We've
That's what I'm trying
we've
to
not
work
said
out.
he has. That's the
The
problem.
only-
We've not said anybody has.
Monga delivered in the Birmingham game. That great ball. It showed his quality that he's got. So that ball, what he set up for Ricardo, didn't he, Dan?
Yes, but he over the season he's not delivered enough to justify some of the praise that he gets. I think as supporters, and a little bit like that with Abdul, is that we cling on to what we know he can do, regardless of how often he does it, and that's the problem, you know.
I think Monga spent what? He spent quite a few
He's been
games.
injured.
He's been injured, hasn't he, a lot?
Been injured the last 4 weeks.
But you can't rely on Monga all the time to go and do things, because you can't expect Monga to deliver compared to all these experienced players. The experienced players should be the ones delivering.
Well, yeah.
You can't rely on a 16-year-old to go and deliver.
No.
This is what gets me with Marty. You know, he's relying on it because none of the others are doing what they should be doing.
You
This
can't.
is what I say, right, regarding Monga. They rely on him because just nothing's working because Marty's making it that way.
Yeah, and unfortunately for Monga as well is that he doesn't have a good enough fullback behind him.
No,
who's going to coach him and help him through games. I mean, and give him direction. So
it's difficult with a turnover when you do bring him on and you are losing games. You know, you can't expect him to change a game with a click of your fingers, because that's not how it is.
Yeah.
That's, obviously against QPR, he came on, didn't he, off the bench, and he did more in that bloody minutes that we brought him on for than the whole team did in the game. And then QPR fans were raving about him. Oh, look at that guy Monga, you know, great player. He will be. He will be a top player.
It's because he showed a bit more, I suppose, passion.
Yeah.
Or enthusiasm, I should say, more than passion. It's enthusiasm to trying to do something. But you're going to get that out of a kid after 15 minutes.
4-1-8-2. Time for your beds. This therapy session either works or it doesn't. I'm sorry. It was basically, we're supposed to be just talking about Watford, and we basically took a gander in everywhere else. We basically looked at every department, basically, and
like I said, we're just lacking in a lot at the minute.
Talking about the situations as a collective. You know, this show wasn't tonight about just a Watford game. We just wanted to express how everyone feels about everything else.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, we'll do that. Right, Dan, this is how a fan expressed his opinion yesterday on the Watford defeat. And then basically, this is how the fans reacted at full time. Not booze. And what the effing hell was that? That's how they responded. And you know what? I was with them with that yesterday because it was just an embarrassment, gutless performance, and basically we got beat again.
Yeah.
There we go. Back again, boys. Miller and Carter, 9-ounce steak. Rump steak hit me hard. Well, there. Dan, pleasure, mate, as always. Thanks for coming on. It can't go on like this, can it?
It can't go on like this, can it?
It can.
And there we go. We're going to end it there. Thanks, everyone. Hit like button, subscribe. And, there we go. There we have it. dog's had enough, and she wants a dinner, so I'm going to have to go and do that. But no, I appreciate everyone coming in. Thank you again, even though we have waffled for an hour, nearly an hour and a half. Based on everything. Go and check out the match day vlog. Infuriating scenes. I think there were bloody more than that, but yeah, a lot of anger and everything else. But appreciate everyone. Thank you. All the best, and we'll catch you again soon.